right now at 11.
Tonight, we're remembering the chairman of the boards, Petersburg native and NBA superstar Moses Malone.
Surveillance cameras rolling at the right time and in the right place to catch a massive waterspout.
And is someone counterfeiting football tickets at Lane Stadium? Tonight, police need your help to locate this man.
On your side, NBC 12 News at 11 starts with breaking news.
And breaking right now, witnesses report explosions in Ashland off Washington Highway with fire crews on the scene right now.
Mike Valerio has the latest from the Breaking News Center. Mike, what do you know about this?
Well, Sabrina and Kurt, witnesses say they first thought an explosion was part of a show at King's Dominion. Then they see fire trucks and hear more explosions. A live picture of the scene right now. Hanover Fire says this is happening at 11310 Washington Highway, and that address traces back to Fox Auto Service. Now, if you know the area, that's right on Route 1 close to Lewistown Road. The call comes in at 9:21 tonight, and we know crews are still trying to find out how the fire started, but it is under control. From what I've been able to piece together so far, we know that Fox was closed today, and I have confirmed with fire officials that no one is hurt tonight. We, of course, broke this first on NBC12.com and through our free breaking news app. And if we learn more overnight, just check in with our website when you wake up for the latest on this investigation. That's our top story from here in the Breaking News Center. Kurt and Sabrina, back to you.
Mike, thanks very much. Now to Louisa and the rumbling many of you learned about tonight from our free NBC 12 News app.
Yet another aftershock just about a month after the 4-year anniversary of the big one up there. For the latest information, let's send it over to meteorologist Jim Duncan in the First Warning Weather Center. Jim, how strong of a quake are we talking about here?
This was minimal, especially compared to the one we had back in 2011, 2.2. I'll talk more about that in a second. Let's locate it first. The center of the quake was located about 28 miles to the northwest of Short Pump, just 7 miles south of Louisa. And the quake itself, as I mentioned, measured 2.2 magnitude. It happened at 9:38 yesterday evening. A depth in the underground was 3.3 miles. That's a fairly shallow quake. It happened near Shannon Hill Road and Mountain Road intersection, again up in Louisa. Compare that to the quake we had back in 2011. That was a 5.8. This one was a 2.2, so this one is quite small in comparison.
Thanks very much. Just then, state police and the FAA are on the scene of a small plane crash in Monetta. Moments after impact, the small aircraft burst into flames.
First responders were able to pull 2 people out of the wreckage and rush them to a Roanoke hospital. We'll update you as soon as new information comes into our newsroom. And now to a story many of you have been talking about on my Facebook page as well as Twitter. Petersburg native and NBA Hall of Famer Moses Malone has died at the age of 60. Malone passed away in his sleep overnight at a Norfolk hotel where he was staying for a celebrity golf tournament.
Tonight, we're talking to people in Petersburg who knew the 12-time All-Star very well. Brittany McDonald goes back to where Malone's career all began, Petersburg High School.
People in Petersburg are devastated at the news of Malone's death, but tell me they're looking at this as an opportunity to be inspired and carry out his legacy at the same place where it all started.
He was probably the most known Crimson Wave athlete in the history of Petersburg.
Moses Malone's legacy can already be seen across the walls of the Petersburg High Gymnasium, his memorabilia proudly on display.
He really is a standout, you know, and not only did he stand out in the crowd, but he stood out, you know, as a person and as a player.
Malone was part of back-to-back undefeated state championship teams at Petersburg in 1973 and 74 and would go straight on to the pros and a 20-year career with the NBA.
Moses was probably known just for his toughness, his heart. He was a great rebounder, and more importantly, he was a winner.
But Petersburg High School coach David McGlone says the star still managed to keep his humble roots.
He came from the city and went on and put the city on the map. And more importantly, he kept the city on the map.
Malone's become a role model for current athletes like Petersburg senior Bernard Gregory.
I still look at like videos of what he did, and I mean, just was a great player from what I've seen.
I don't think you could get a better role model or a better example to put in front of your children about what they can be if they continue to do their best.
Coach McGlone says what Malone stood for went far beyond a game, but they'll be keeping him in mind out on the court.
As sad as it is, we can definitely draw strength from it, knowing that we still have the privilege to go out and represent Petersburg the way he would want us to.
The city of Petersburg also released a statement calling Malone a gentle giant and saying, quote, "Legendary is a word of magnificence, which will follow him to the scoreboard in heaven." You can find the full statement and more about Malone over on our website, NBC12.com. Look for more on him coming up later in sports. On your side, Brittany McDonald, NBC 12.
Thanks, Brittany. And developing now, the visit of Pope Francis to the U.S., raising some serious concerns about security tonight. And we've even learned that one person is in custody for making threats. Texas Congressman Michael McCaul says the Secret Service closely monitoring this situation. NBC News is reporting the man making the threat said he had planned to do something to the Pope. That man is now being evaluated. Pope Francis will be in the United States from the 22nd until the 27th of this month.
Here in Richmond, firefighters from all across Central Virginia are honoring the lives lost on 9/11 with the annual Memorial Stair Climb. The goal, finish the climb. 343 firefighters started September 11, 2001, when hijacked planes crashed into the Twin Towers. Curtis McLeod has our coverage from the SunTrust building.
It's a big deal for me.
Retired firefighter Pete Svoboda has only missed the annual stair climb once in its 5-year existence.
Thomas Isabella, ladder 13.
Each time he climbs the stairs inside the SunTrust building, it's dedicated to the memory of his childhood friend and New York firefighter Thomas Sabella.
Tommy and I went to high school together. We went through 4 years in high school on Staten Island, and we went our separate ways.
Thomas Sabella lost his life on September 11th while trying to rescue people from the burning towers. Svoboda says he remembers seeing the first images from Ground Zero.
We got to a television set and we saw the first pictures, and my first response, I said to my wife, there are firefighters are in there. They ain't gonna make it. So you knew right from the start it was going to be a bad one.
343 firefighters lost their lives when the towers collapsed. Those firefighters never finished their journey to the top of the towers. Now, 14 years later, firefighters and supporters throughout Central Virginia are finishing that journey through the annual stair climb. All right, good job. Participants are climbing 22 flights of stairs 5 times to match the 110-floor trek firefighters had intended to make on 9/11.
It's time to honor and time to never forget.
Never forget and honor the hundreds like Thomas Sabella who died that fateful day.
It's a good way for us to show a different way of remembering our fallen brothers and sisters.
Curtis McLeod, NBC 12 News.
Thanks, Curtis. 3 men are behind bars after a suspicious situation near the Pentagon. Police say the heavily intoxicated trio was in a car with a wire protruding from the driver's side door. The men tried to drive away from responding officers but were arrested a short time later. Authorities called in a bomb squad as a precaution. The Virginia Court of Appeals has granted prosecutors' request for a hearing on a lower court's dismissal of Joe Morrissey's felony charges.
Now, that hearing is scheduled for tomorrow morning at 11 o'clock. You may remember back in April, a Henrico judge dismissed all felony charges in a perjury and forgery case against the former delegate. However, the state appealed the case, and their request was granted earlier this week. A doctor stabs himself allegedly just to get sympathy from his employers. Originally, the doctor told police he was stabbed at the Fort Chiswell Medical Clinic. That's in Wythe County. This happened on Wednesday, but since then, he's changed his story. Dr. Paul Williams claims he was afraid he'd be fired or forced to resign and pay thousands in fines. Police have charged Williams with making a false police report.
The Charlottesville community is honoring the memory of slain UVA student Hannah Graham. These are the messages in chalk drawn on the free speech wall. It's a block from where Graham was last captured on surveillance cameras the night of her disappearance, September 13, 2004. Help Save the Next Girl organized this memorial event. Since Graham's murder, the group has been working to change Virginia laws to promote safety.
It's really a growing problem, and I think a lot of people want to sweep it under the rug, unfortunately, so we just want to get out here and raise awareness.
Family members of other young women murdered in Central Virginia took part, including relatives of Alexis Murphy and the mother of Morgan Harrington. Tonight, accused killer Jesse Matthews sits in a jail cell awaiting his trial for abducting and murdering Graham. That's set to begin next July.
A disturbing crime out of Norfolk where detectives find an elderly couple and their dog dead inside the house. Investigators say it appears to be a murder-suicide. We know that police did remove at least one gun from the home Friday morning. According to neighbors, the husband and wife had lived there for years, with the husband often seen walking his dachshund all around the neighborhood. It's unclear who may have pulled the trigger. And with college football season underway, we want to warn you about a possible counterfeit ticket ring for Virginia Tech games. The university's police department there is reviewing several complaints of fake tickets sold during the recent Ohio State game this weekend. Officers think the man you see there on the screen may have some answers. He's wanted for questioning about the sale of those bogus tickets at Lane Stadium. If you recognize this man, please call police.
We just learned a Louisa man searching for a kidney has not only found a donor, but just had a successful transplant. We first told you about 28-year-old Danny Woody back in June when Woody resorted to social media to try to find a living donor. He suffered from chronic kidney disease for years. Shortly after our story aired, a match came forward. Danny had the transplant last week and was able to go home this weekend. We wish Danny a quick and healthy recovery. Now to New Kent, where we're following a deadly crash that claimed a 16-year-old's life this morning. According to state police, Joshua Perry ran off Tunstall Road into an embankment, went airborne, then struck a tree. The car then spun sideways and hit a second tree before overturning. It's unclear if Perry was wearing a seatbelt at the time. Investigators say speed is considered a factor in this crash.
It's a captivating and emotional jailhouse interview. That woman, accused of aiding two convicted killers in a big prison escape, is tonight sharing her story for the first time.
To everyone who's wondered what was she thinking, Joyce Mitchell offers a tearful explanation tonight. Her intriguing interview coming up in just 2 minutes.
Check this out. Caught on camera, surveillance cameras happen to be rolling as a water spout forms and then comes barreling toward a Maryland restaurant. Take a closer look. You can see in the video that spout lasts only a few moments before dissipating Saturday afternoon. The general manager says the winds were so powerful they knocked over tables and chairs on the patio. The good news here, no injuries.
Right now, I'm in our all-new social media center tracking a story many of you will no doubt be following tomorrow. Joyce Mitchell, the New York prison seamstress who pleaded guilty to helping convicted killers escape, opens up for the very first time. Richard Matt and David Sweat's escape had thousands of you living in fear. But in an exclusive interview with Matt Lauer, Mitchell explains she is not a monster.
I am so sorry for everything that everyone has went through because of me. I never meant for any of this to ever happen. Never. I would take it all back if I could, but I can't. But I'm not the monster that everybody thinks I am.
Mitchell goes on to say she just got in over her head. You can catch more of that interview tomorrow morning on Today. Then share your thoughts over on our NBC 12 Facebook page.
Right now, we want to take you on an aerial view of our new home here at NBC 12. It's beautiful, isn't it? Our new interactive set has been almost a year in the making, but keep in mind, it's more than aesthetics. All of this was designed with functionality in mind, so viewers don't just watch our newscast, they can participate as well.
It went up in just about a week, but this new set has been in the works almost a full year in the design and planning stages to make it as interactive as technology will allow. The set itself was constructed off-site by the FX Group in Florida and delivered to Richmond in pieces to be fitted together like a giant high-tech jigsaw puzzle in our main studio. And it isn't just one color. In the morning hours, as the sun comes up, you may see hues of gold. In the evening, blue. And if we're in the midst of breaking news, the set turns bright red, along with our all-new, easier-to-read graphics, alerting you at home that we're on a big story, following it every step of the way and in real time. And to help do that, 2 giant walls of monitors.
Here at WWBT, they're featuring a big, huge monitor wall, 18 monitors, all in one array, to showcase any type of image, any type of breaking news stories, and other breaking news elements to engage viewers.
When weather breaks, our new software allows us to immediately incorporate your pics and home videos into our weather graphics. They actually become part of the weathercast and the storytelling process because we can get them on air now just about as fast as you can send them.
We have the ability at a moment's notice to take content you've given us, and we're talking about a picture of your neighborhood or your favorite spot to visit in the Commonwealth, and we can take that and put it in the background.
In one section of our studio, a social media center that looks like a giant smartphone, where we'll be taking your images, your comments, even your reporting if you happen upon a major story and have your phone handy. It's a new way to bring you connectivity and urgency when big news breaks.
Well, we're getting it in from all over, social media, our news app, tips from viewers like you, and now it's just a matter of making sure we can show that in real time.
But no matter the technology, we know it's the people that you've come to know and trust through the years to bring you the news that's most important to you. So look at these changes as new technology melded together with our long-standing commitment that's never wavered.
By the way, if you're wondering what happened to the old set, we donated it to VCU so the next generation of news anchors have a place to train. And new tonight, a warning if you're watching us right now, cyber criminals may be targeting you as we speak.
We're tracking several new schemes crooks are sending directly to your inbox. Tonight, On Your Side investigator Gray Hall has what you need to know to fight back.
You can hit delete if you see this email. The United Nations is not emailing you. Crooks are blasting out these fraudulent notes claiming you're in line for a ton of cash. For more information, you're told to open an attachment. Do not open it. It could install a virus. The UN is aware of these deceptive emails and has warnings on its website. If you see this, again, just hit delete. Or if you think you've been a victim, report it to the FBI's Internet Crime Complaint Center at ic3.gov. The Better Business Bureau posted this warning about fake online customer service credit card numbers. The organization says crooks are creating fake search results with fake numbers in hopes that you will give up your credit card information. Those criminals can also create similar numbers to your credit card company in order to fool you if you misdial. Your safest option, look for your credit card's number on the back of your card. If you think you've been a victim, contact your credit card company right away. As a rule of thumb, never trust those random emails. Here's one that just may show up in your inbox. The sender claims they need some help transferring and investing millions of dollars. Of course, this is a trick, and those crooks are usually after your personal information and money. Again, hit delete or report it to ic3.gov. If you think you've been scammed or you have a consumer issue, remember, you can email me, tweet me, or post a message on my Facebook page. On Your Side investigator, Gray Hall.
To see more alerts from Gray, head over to the NBC 12, NBC12.com. You can also find more information on the alerts featured in tonight's broadcast by firing up the free NBC 12 News app. It's easy to do. Just click the On Your Side tab in the menu. As always, to contact the On Your Side investigators, email investigators@NBC12.com.
Central Virginia's breaking weather specialists. This is NBC 12 First Warning Weather.
Driving in this evening, Jim, I couldn't believe